In 2006, Mario Williams became the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. Flash forward just over a decade, Bradley Chubb became the 5th overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft. What did they both have in common? They were both from NC State. The Wolfpack quietly produced a good amount of NFL talent, and in this year's draft, they have an opportunity to have the #1 overall pick again. It may be a little bit of a shot in the dark, but the subject of today's video is worthy of the #1 overall pick in some people's eyes, and he is going to make a huge impact at the next level. In today's video, I'm going to introduce you to who this guy is, we're going to go through his college journey, and talk about what he brings to an NFL franchise. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. So you're probably wondering who the subject of today's video is, and it is none other than Ikem Okwonu. He's an offensive lineman prospect from NC State, and he is a big dude. But this is not how it always was for him. Going back in time, Ikem was always a happy kid who was going to change the world. His mom said, quote, "He's always been a joy. He's always been happy from day one, even as a tiny baby. He's a happy young man, it's just in his DNA." Athletics were also in his DNA, as his dad moved from Nigeria to the States to play college basketball and would later become a doctor. He definitely had the genetics, but he was not always a football player. In fact, he had a different talent. It was music. He would spend his elementary school summers with a musical theater group, playing in plays such as The Jungle Book and The Aristocrats, and in high school, he was also a salesman. The guy could do a little bit of everything. He sold Cutco knives door to door, and most people fail at that job, so the fact that he went out there and did it and actually was successful is pretty insane. That's why he wanted to study business wherever he was going to go to school, but football was going to determine that. He would have to stay out of the shadows of his brother though, who was pretty good. His brother Osita Okwonu was actually a 4-star player and would eventually sign with Notre Dame, but Ikem would have his time to shine eventually. ACC teams and other college programs would later regret not signing him, as one anonymous ACC head coach said, quote, "We didn't offer him and we certainly regret it. He was just really raw, but you watch him now and he's so athletic and so tough. He plays with an edge and has really good feet. Credit to NC State. They were probably the only ones in the conference that really wanted him. Everybody wanted his brother." The Okwonu brothers transferred to Charlotte's Providence Day High School, which is located in Matthews, North Carolina, and that happened when they were freshmen in high school. OC started from day one, while Okwonu was JV until his junior year. Ikem knew big-time FBS programs were interested in his brother. He said, quote, "But something at my school that our coach always taught us was to have a chip on our shoulder and to just play with that fire." His coach said, quote, "He never actually told me he was discouraged. He wasn't that type of kid, but I knew what was in him and something was bothering him. You could see it in his face that he was discouraged and wondering if he was ever going to get any offers." He eventually did emerge as a starter on both sides of the ball and would play varsity towards the end of his junior year. His offer came from Charlotte that season, and later he got an Appalachian State offer and some other FCS schools wanted him. It was tough to read because some recruiters acted like they wanted him, but they really wanted his brother, and he saw through that. There was finally one moment that would change Ikem's career and recruitment. He ran a relay race and showed the world that he was an insane athlete. Someone took out their phone and recorded this. From there, that clip went viral, and he started to get Power 5 interest, and he would finally find his home in the fall of 2018. He made the drive up to NC State, and he was very impressed with what he saw. He said, quote, "The visit went well. I decided to commit while I was there. I knew NC State was the place for me. The coaches were really excited and fired up. I could tell that they wanted me to go there and play for them. We just talked about how it'd be such a great fit for me." Not only did the coaches impress him, but the distance was also a huge factor. He said, quote, "The driving distance is about 3 hours, and that was something that intrigued me. I liked it, so my parents could maybe go to the games if they wanted to. Staying in North Carolina wasn't a make or break decision for me, but it is something that I enjoyed." Ikem was a project player, and he finally got his Power 5 offer, but he was not ranked that highly. According to 24/7 Sports, he was a 3-star player, the number 36 offensive guard, and the 612th best player in the class of 2019. So, how did he do at NC State? Ikem arrived at NC State. He was a contributor immediately. In fact, he became the first true freshman offensive tackle to start since the year 2010. He won the Phillip Rivers Award for Rookie of the Year at the program, and led the team with 37 pancakes. I don't really know lineman stats that well, but he started 7 games at left tackle and was named a second-team All-ACC selection and was part of the freshman All-American team. I'd say that was pretty good. That's why he had a lot of hype going into 2020, and he definitely lived up to it. He once again became a second-team All-ACC player and had 50 pancakes and 22 knockdowns. Some people thought he was a first-team All-ACC player, but now his hype was unreal going into 2021. I saw a lot of mock drafts last fall talking about how he was going to be a first-round pick. He played himself into the top 10, and there was a conversation for him to be the #1 overall pick. The Athletic called him the most feared lineman in the ACC, and there was one moment where he was unbelievable, and head coach David Doran had this to say, quote, "He's just throwing guys around like a bouncer at a bar. 3 pancakes on one play, and I'm like, this is unreal." Doran and the college football world were in disbelief, and scouts agreed with them. That's why many projected him as a top 5 pick, and some think he is the best lineman in the draft. He will have to compete with Alabama's Evan Neal for that spot, but in terms of his physical potential, his work ethic, and his 3-year production, he has a case to become that number 1 overall pick. In a 2022 NFL draft that doesn't have a clear-cut number 1 overall pick, combining all of those factors with a great combine performance opens the door for Okwonu to be that number 1 overall pick. According to the Draft Wire, they said, quote, "He sure likes he should be the number 1 overall pick." Again, I'm not a scout, so I don't really know what to look for in linemen, but it seems like he checks every box. He went from being the 2nd best player in his family to potentially the best player in the draft. This is great for Okwonu, great for the NC State program, and I'm super pumped to see what he's going to do in the NFL. I'm definitely going to be watching his name come draft night, and I hope you guys do the same. I also hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to smash that like button, give me your thoughts on who should go to number 1 overall, and let me know what player I should take a look at next. Before you go, don't also forget to subscribe, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.